Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at this Harman Kardon 330C. This is my third receiver in this line. I own a 330B, a 730 twin power, and this is the newest addition to the collection. So what we're going to be taking a look at today is just doing a basic service on this, cleaning of the controls on the front, maybe general cleaning of the body, although it doesn't look that dirty. Taking a look inside, seeing if any of the lamps are out, and doing the DC idle adjustment on this. So these are really great receivers. They were under the radar for a bit, but thanks to some videos by some other YouTubers and discussion online, these Harman and Kardons are really starting to pick up popularity. It's harder and harder to find these for a good price. But anyway, so start off with, we'll pull off the cover rather. You can see fixed by a couple screws here on the sides and two on top. So just take those off. Okay, we've got the 6 screws out. Now this cover should just pull off here. Set that aside. Okay, now we can take a look inside here. It's actually pretty clean looking. Yeah, so not dusty or anything, so it looks like this unit was pretty well cared for. Okay, anyway, so let's see, can we get at the controls from the top? Yes, it looks like all the controls are pretty accessible. We'll just have to sneak our deoxit fader lube straw under this panel here, but everything looks pretty accessible, which is very nice. On a lot of these smaller units, that is the case because there's not a whole lot of junk just blocking it. So now let's get this up on its side, and we can take a look at getting everything with our can of deoxit. Okay, so these are the two products I'll typically use. They're by MG Chemicals. So this is electrical contact cleaner. Use that on any switches, and neutral control cleaner. Use that on any pots. So this is MG's equivalent to Fader Lube, and this is MG's equivalent to Deoxit. So what we're going to do is on the switches use the Deoxit, and pots we'll use that Fader Lube equivalent. So see if we can get a good view in here. Get my light. So hopefully the camera focuses. You should be able to see openings on those pots at the wafers there, and the little kind of holes on the side, and then on the rest of them, excuse me, this camera really doesn't want to focus. You can see the opening in the top there, and then on the switches, you can see hopefully. The switches have openings in the top two that are just being really hard to pick up on the angle. But basically we're just going to snake the straws back in there, give everything a quick blast, work the control, and it should be good to go. So for those of you that are a bit more experienced working on these, this is nothing new. Okay, let me just adjust my camera and see if I can get a good angle to show this. Okay, so to get the service manual to see how to set that idle current, you usually go to hifiengine.com and you just work your way through and select the receiver you want, or you can just Google search Harman Kardon 330C service manual, and they show all the manuals for the A, B, and C version. So we want the C, already have it downloaded. So this is the manual. You just scroll through to the adjustment section. So you see you got AM alignment procedure, stereo indicator lamp adjustment, FM alignment, and this is the one we want right here. Power amplifier idling adjustment. So we're going to need a DC voltmeter. So your typical digital multimeter is going to have that function in it. So you can just use that. We got to set the function to auxiliary, volume control to minimum, and the tone balance controls to the mid position. Make sure we're on stereo. Turn the speaker selector switch on and connect the 8 ohm resistor across the speaker terminal. And then these are the resistors we're looking for to connect our voltmeter to. These are the adjusting variable resistors, and here's our goal values for the voltages across these resistors. So let's hop back over to the receiver and see if we can locate these resistors and make the adjustments. Okay, so when we're looking for or trying to make these idling adjustments, it's usually on the, or pretty much always on the power amp board. So your power out or amp output board, which is going to be this guy in the back here. So this board is actually pretty nice. See, everything's labeled. Some manufacturers do not label their board, so you're just kind of looking at the service manual, the schematics and layouts to try and figure out what's what. Looking at you, Pioneer. So you can see there's only 2 variable resistors on this board. This guy here, this one here. So these are kind of copies, or each side of this board is a copy of the other side. It's not mirrored, so you can see we got the cap and the inductor and this resistor, and you can see that's where it splits. Right after this cap here, you got your inductor, the cap, resistor, and so it's copied here to there. So we know what we find over here for our adjustments. We're just going to be looking in the same spot on the other side of the board. And so the resistor we're looking for is actually this white one in the back here. I'm not sure if you guys are able to see it. Unfortunately, they wrote it under the resistor, which kind of pain in the butt. But that is, there you go, resistor 427. So this is what we're going to be taking our voltage measurement across. And then we'll be adjusting the variable resistor that's right there. So what it's asking for is kind of one of these. This is a 8 ohm, 100 watt resistor. So it's just looking for basically a speaker load to be on there while you're making the adjustment. So like I mentioned before, I've only got one that's kind of set up and sorted for doing these adjustments. So we'll do one channel at a time. So let me get my multimeter hooked up here, and we can take a look at what we're looking at and make adjustments if needed. Okay, I got a multimeter hooked up on each channel, set it to DC volts. Typically when I'm working on these things, I like to run through dim bulb testers, but when you're setting something like this, you really shouldn't be doing it through the dim bulb tester. It will throw off your values a little bit. So when you're setting it, once you pull it off the dim bulb, it's going to be off. So both hooked up. You can see the connections to the resistors there. So what you're going to do is just turn it on. Okay, we're on auxiliary, minimum volume, everything here set to the middle. You can see we're starting to charge up a little bit. I kind of hooked them up in reverse, so this one's showing negative, but not really a big deal. So what you're going to want to do is just let this thing heat up for a couple minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So I'll do that, and we'll come back and see what we're at in about 10 minutes. Okay, so you can see the left channel down here is pretty much dead on. This channel here, we're going to try and bring up a little bit closer. So we're just going to adjust the variable resistor on that side. So just make small, slow adjustments. These things tend to be pretty sensitive. Okay, so closer. We'll adjust that down a hair. Okay, we'll see if I can just adjust this one closer. So if I'm remembering correctly, we were 10 millivolts plus or minus a millivolt. So let's see if I can get this one right at 10 as well. So when you're doing this, be careful not to short anything out on the board with the screwdriver. So what I'm using is just a small jewelry screwdriver. So those are both right on the money now. I'll just do a close up here, show those variable resistors. You can see the slot in each of them for adjustment. So we are right on the money at 10. So that is set pretty much perfectly, really in tolerance. And looking at this, I noticed we do have some bulbs out. So you can see this one's on and shining. That one there, you can see the glass tube there. So that one's toast. This one's good. This one's good. Again, this one, no light. One that ends fine. And I believe the stereo indicator is burned out as well. So to get at these, I think I have to pull the faceplate off. So that'll be the next part of this video, I guess. Okay, and we're back here. So going to be removing the faceplate to try to get at those bulbs. Already pulled the knobs off the front, as you can see. Some of them were pretty stuck, so used our high-tech pry tool. So looks like there's a couple Phillips head screws around this thing. So hopefully it just pops right off after we take them off. So looks like we've got 2 on each side. And then there should be 2 on the top. But it looks like one is missing. So perhaps someone took this apart previously and forgot to install the screw or lost it or something. Okay, so that's actually just a side piece, kind of a trim piece there. See if that actually holds the faceplate on at all. No. Okay, so those ones on the side, just for this trim piece, so I suppose that really doesn't have to come off. But I believe this one on the top will. And then I think there are another set on the bottom. So these would be for the, or you can't see what I'm pointing at, but just the camera there. So there's 2 here that are for the bottom cover. And then there's 2 kind of on the extremes here that look like they go through with the bottom cover. So those will probably be the ones for our faceplate. We'll keep those together. And we'll probably see if I can find a screw at Home Depot or something to replace that missing one. Okay. Get this other trim piece out of the way. Okay, does not seem to want to come off still. Maybe some of these on the bottom cover also screw through it. So we'll just pull the bottom cover off and we can see what's down here. Okay, now that that's out of the way, it looks like our cover is just sliding off, so might have just been pinched. Or no, those two initial screws look like they were actually holding it down, so let's get this back right side up. Okay. Pull that out. Okay, so we got the faceplate off. So that just pulled right off. I'm gonna put this somewhere where it won't get dropped. Okay, now we have, let me adjust the camera here for you guys. Now we have the dial face itself. So that looks like it's also held in by a series of screws. We got 2 bronze ones, and then 3 black ones here. So let me work on getting those out and we can check back in. Okay, so we got all 5 screws out. I'm guessing this should just pull off. Doesn't look like there's Okay, so what we have here is not exactly the most service-friendly design for placing these bulbs. So as you can see, I got all the screws out of the dial face, but it appears that they also glued the dial to the chassis. You can see kind of brown bit of glue in a couple spaces or places here. Here, probably at the other end too, and maybe kind of somewhere else throughout. But so what I'm doing is slowly trying to pry my way over without cracking the dial face. Just slowly gonna try to work this loose, break down the old glue, so that way we can actually get in here to replace those bulbs in the back. Okay, so started working my way in from one end. Hopefully you can see, got that pad of glue broken loose. So just gonna kind of continue my way down, using a spoon, kind of hold it. Once I hit a big patch of glue, come back in with a little tiny screwdriver and just scrape the glue a bit and work this out and pop it. So just really try not to bend it too much. I don't want to crack this or anything. So slow and steady. Hopefully get us there. So we got one end of this thing loose. You can see all that glue that was back behind there. So we're about halfway through. Going to scroll the indicator to the other end, and we're going to work in from the other side now. So basically just going to get started over here with the small screwdriver. Once we get it popped up, we can just use the spoon to start working our way in a bit, and just using the screwdriver to help pop some of the glue. It's going to be tough to do it with one hand, so I'll check in, or let's see if I can get the camera stand in a way that's totally in my way. Maybe that will work. So again, just going to start on this end. The bottom, or at least on the other side, the bottom was loose, not glued in, so I'm just going to work this small screwdriver up from the bottom. Let's try to get back here with my fingernail. Okay, so hopefully you can see it starting to pull. Oops, that top corner. So just gonna get my fingernail behind there so I can move the screwdriver up there. And then we got our first glob of glue, like right here. So just gonna try to gently pry that. Apologize for shaky camera here, but reach around the camera stand a little bit. So here's where the glue starts. Just gonna try and get in. Put the spoon behind here just to hold it, and you can see that just kind of opened up a little bit. So the spoon, and again, just slowly working my way down the spoon and small screwdriver. Just being very gently prying with the screwdriver. You can see that pop loose a bit there, so probably get through another clump. Ooh, and you see, just came free. So let me get a spot where we can actually see what's going on. Let me bend the camera stand out of the way. Yeah, just okay. So adjusted the camera so we can all actually see what's going on. So again, this just came loose, so we can just slide that out of the way. You can see all the glue on there. So when reassembling, I don't really see a need to put the glue back on, so I'll just use the screws to fix it in there. But we're finally at the bulbs, so let me just pull this out. So you can see we've got our 5 bulbs. To get these loose, you can just use a screwdriver or a chopstick. Get under one end and you can pop them free. So I got my chopstick here, and you should just be able to, let me move the indicator out of the way. Just get behind it and it should pop loose. So let me get this back to the stand. Yeah, this chopstick's not cooperating. We'll just use that same small screwdriver. Okay, they just come out with that. Get one end, then you can pull the other. So these are marked as 8 volt, 0.3 amps. So I think this one was one of the good ones. Let's see if I can. But I'll just replace them all, that way I don't have to fight with taking this thing back apart. So I'll link where I get the bulbs down in the description. So if you're working on one of these and you need the bulbs, you have them right there. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the bulbs. I believe this lamp is also burnt out, so I have to see if I have one of these lamps laying around. I believe this is a 6.3 volt, 40 milliamp. So I might have to go online and find one of these somewhere. Wasn't going to originally, but I think I will recap this amp. It looks fairly easy to work on, which is kind of why I'm thinking might as well just do it. Everything looks pretty nicely laid out and accessible, so it shouldn't be too difficult. So I'll put in a Mauser or DigiKey order, and I'll probably come in the next week or so, and we can I'll probably do a recap video on this just to show you guys how to do it if anyone's interested. So yeah, thanks for watching. Okay, so there's an additional fuse style lamp way back there, if you can see it on the far left. That's behind the tuning meter. So we're going to try and get that one out. It's kind of in a bad spot. You can't really pull this back plate off. I tried taking the screws out, and the tuning pulley is in the way. So I might try to come from the top with the chopstick, just pop that out and see if I can maybe reach my fingers back in there. I could also try to just move the tuning meter out of the way a little bit. If I can push it into the chassis, I might be able to get my fingers back there to get in at that. Then for the stereo lamp, see, I have it pulled out here. It's kind of a cloudy looking lamp. I've got this little 5 millimeter LED bulb that I'll probably drop in its place. I already hooked it up, figured out what's the positive and negative pin on the back here for this little 6.3 volt 40 milliamp bulb. So we get that hooked up, but first let me try to get at this this last fuse style lamp back here. We got all the bulbs replaced in this thing. You can see the 5 new fuse style bulbs there. I was able to install one of those little model lamps. It's the LED lamp. See, sorted in there. The original had pins that kind of came, or little wires that came through, sort of like a component. But just with how tight everything was back here and the proximity to the dial string, I didn't feel like messing around with that. So just cut them short or cut them all the way back at the board here, and just took the leads of my new LED lamp to the back and sorted it to the pins. And this is loose, so I'm gonna have to try to find some mounting tape there to get that to sit back in good. But anyway, let's turn it on. Okay, so we can see all the lamps here fired up, and then just shift the tuner a little bit, and there you can see tuner move. So we're on stereo. The new LED lighting up, and as soon as we go off, it turns off. So that's working. Let me just kind of demonstrate. I'll throw this just in front here, so you guys can see kind of how it will look illuminated. See that the stereo lamp works now, so we're looking good. Yeah, so just waiting on that Mauser order to come in, and we'll get going on a recap and full refurbishing of this unit.